This is...
Not capturing our eyes. Capture our eyes. Camera.
You just need to move around a bit. This hat's ridiculous. This might be the most ridiculous hat I've ever had on my head.
Because I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Gotcha. Elbowed you right in the elbow. Bop, bop. Jeff has another hat courtesy of Steph and Brad.
Was that who it said? I don't know.
I assume. I think you guys
Did
sent
they send
all these hats, right?
What is this hat called?
Popeye.
It's like
an old sailor hat.
It looks like a really high like toque. Got like
And
a happy face.
No, it's on the other side, Jeff.
It's got a happy face. Do you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Do you remember in Home Alone when he's got his little black toque on?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Hello everyone and welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
Board games.
and
board gamey things.
And hats.
I was gonna say hats, but I feel like I always say something ridiculous, and I was gonna like just do it normal this time.
Yeah, just a normal one this time, except then I really bumped it up.
It makes my head look way smaller than I think it is.
No, you have a small head. It's just squished your hair down.
Yeah, it's weird.
The hat can't shrink your head.
I understand the logic there. I'm just saying it looks smaller.
We are back again today with another episode of Board Game Snapshots.
Paja! Paja!
Paja!
I gotta be careful. I can't do it too
Can't
loud.
do it too loud.
Can't do it too
The
quiet.
people have sensitive ears when we scream through the microphone.
Do you know what else we got?
Do you want to know what's sad about this? All I've been eating is Sour Patch Kids, but upstairs we also have sour grapes and cherry blasters. I bought the cherry blasters for Jeff, but I opened them and then
Look at the size of this thing. Yeah, fun fact. I got home today and I wanted a cherry blaster, thinking that
left me to my own devices for dinner.
The bag was in pristine condition, unopened, ready for me to munch a cherry blaster.
I have to tell you a story.
I go into the cupboard. I'm telling a story.
Okay.
I go into the cupboard.
Me next.
I see the cherry blaster bag, and I'm like, that looks tainted.
I just ripped the corner a little.
Rolled up, as if it's been opened.
Yeah.
Grabbed it. It had been opened.
I ate 5. The point is, we are here today to do 5 mini board game reviews. All right, we are just going to jump in, and we are going to start with our first game, which, by the way, it is in fact a prototype. Nothing on the back. It's Makey on the back. And that is Empire's End from Brotherwise Games, designed by the one, the only, Sir John D. Clare.
I was going to say SJDC.
Empire's End is a new release from Brotherwise Games, once again designed by John D. Clare, that is all about, it's about destruction. I know it's not supposed to be, but the way that I play it, everything burns.
I think it is supposed to be with that, though. It's just about
your empire is
mitigating it a little bit.
You're supposed to be, yeah. So basically, it's about mitigating destruction. That's a good way to put it. In Empire's End, each player has a matching set of tiles in front of them, and each of them are a different area of their empire. Exactly. Empire. I was like, what's the word? So you might have a town, a farm, a road, an army, or whatever. All of these different things. Barracks, yeah, whatever. And to start the game, one person's going to shuffle them all up and everybody's going to lay them out exactly the same. So there's going to be a bunch of different phases, and during each phase, something happens. One of them is called the disaster phase, and in the disaster phase, a disaster card is flipped up and you are bidding to not take that card, because if you do take that card, there's a specific location in your empire that is going to burn to the ground, and it's taking everything with it. So that's a huge part of this game. Like, the most common phase that you're going to go through is a disaster. And then later in the game, you start getting double disasters. It's wild. So also throughout the game, you're going to have economy phases where you're collecting income. You're going to have industry phases where you are building things out. You can repair your destroyed empire, though it does cost money and also hammers.
Conflict.
There's conflict where you're going to be fighting, and that's basically the game. You're just going through different phases. Every phase, you're going through the actions of that phase, and you are just trying to keep your empire afloat. I have yet to be able to do that. I have every time burnt nearly everything to the ground. I'm not very good at this game.
I'm undefeated.
Jeff is undefeated. I don't think I've ever played anything
It's a little bit like Space Base.
A little bit like Space Base.
Where no die rules that identify like slots, but you have a bunch of slots.
Yeah.
That is your empire, and you will be getting cards that you can tuck into those slots that will give you upgrades.
Yes.
It's very much like a resource builder, because you're trying to get a bunch of resources.
Yeah, you have your resources are secret.
That you then are allowed to use to bid during the disaster phase to not take a disaster.
And if you do take the disaster, I forgot to mention, you get to take all of those resources. So it's a little bit of a give and take.
There's a give and take.
You're like, oh, I have to burn this farm down, but hey, look at all these hammers I got.
Yep, Jamie nailed it. It's this give and take of being like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice this part of my empire at this point in the game because it's going to give me a bunch of resources. The conflict phases, in my opinion, are super important. They give you really good rewards if you're able to provide the most army points, I guess, towards the conflict. You'll get bonuses and that sort of thing. It's really just a race. It's a race for points. And the more that you can mitigate those disasters, the better you're going to do long term. But sometimes the game just unfolds in a way that you can't avoid it. But what's really good about that is you can then change your strategy and score victory points based off things that are actually destroyed. It's
basically a game about sacrifice and knowing when to sacrifice and what to sacrifice and when to build things up and when to give in and, you know, when to hold on to resources and when to not. Like, it's completely, the whole game is just like, I really don't want to burn this road, but there's a lot of food on the table and I could use that because I know that there's things that I could use that for later.
Each time there is a disaster phase, it changes which section of your empire is at risk.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, because each part of your empire has varying degrees of victory points worth at the end of the game if it still survives.
Yes.
So you can sacrifice like maybe a cheaper road. There's sections that are worth more victory points that you really don't want to lose.
Yeah.
Each game that we've played has been completely different, which I think is really neat. We've played at 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Decent at 2.
I prefer it at 4.
Prefer it at 4.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is Empire's End from Sir John D. Clare.
SJDC.
SJDC. Ka-chow. Oh my gosh. This game was sent to us for review from Brotherwise Games. So thank you to Brotherwise Games for sending this along.
The next up on our list is Rise. And this is from Capstone Games. And it was provided to us from Capstone for this video, so thank you to them. Rise is tracks on tracks on tracks on tracks on tracks.
Tracks on tracks on tracks. We
tracks on tracks on tracks on tracks on tracks.
Bumping them tracks up the down.
You are basically assuming control of the economical and social development of a city. And you're doing that through 10 different tracks that are really just you're comboing off of it. All of those tracks in order to score victory points.
Yep.
That's the game.
That's the game.
Think like Tapestry, but remove everything in Tapestry but the
remove
tracks.
Everything.
But the tracks. Somehow it works. It is, if you like games like Fleet or Three Sisters and how all of those things combo off of each other, you will enjoy this game because all you're doing is bumping tracks, moving up tracks. This track allows me to move up that track, which allows me to score a victory point here, which allows me to take this school tile, which gives me a bonus. That's the game.
Yeah.
At the top of the board, you are going to have what is an action, I'll just call it an action selection area. And each round, players are going to be selecting actions to take in the game. It's just kind of a bit of a bonus that allow you to go up on different tracks.
Yep.
The really cool thing with it is, it's cheaper to take the leftmost side of the action selection board. It's more expensive to take the right. However, there's 3 actions that you can take, depending on player count and that sort of thing. And there's event cards in between those action selections. And if you pick the farthest right, you're going to be paying more. But you then get to action all the event cards that exist in between the actions. So while the left side is the cheapest and might only cost you 1 coin to take the action, you're missing out on all the event cards. And the event cards might let you go up on certain tracks or degrade on a track to go up on another, that sort of thing. It's just a really combo-y way to just move up Tracks.
Yes.
Have we said tracks?
Tracks.
Yeah.
And if somebody else takes a card to the right side of you, you get to flip one of your school tiles, which, believe it or not, lets you go up on tracks.
And it's really cool because all the tracks operate differently. It's not just always like move to the right, get a thing, move to the right, get a thing. Like some of the tracks are loops. Some of the tracks have multiple paths that you can go up, like a, you know, almost like a tech tree kind of example.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I got crushed.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it.
There's two really interesting tracks at the bottom where one of them is all about like the environment. So if there's certain cards that you get where you kind of go up and you're going to get benefits, but then there's certain cards or tracks that you're going to go up where you can't avoid going down that track. It's almost like you're
pollution.
It's like pollution essentially, and you're going to get negative points.
It's pollution and conservation.
Yeah, so you're kind of trying to like balance because you need to go up on certain tracks, which is going to make you go down on that one, but you don't want to be negative on that side. And then on the opposite side, what is...
I think it's like riot. It's a riot track versus like keeping your population
it's like
happy.
Peace versus unrest, basically. Let's just call it that. So obviously, if you're up higher on the peace track, you get an added benefit once again, because if your place is people rioting, that's no good. Nobody wants that. Pretty much every track is thematic in the way that it works. Like the school track, you're going to go up to learn different things. When you learn different things, like drama, as an example, you get to go up on the theater track. I don't know. It's just super, super thematic. I really like this game. When we sat down to play it, it was one of those games where I was like, I already know I'm going to like this because I just love games that have combos. I love like puzzles and you know, trying to figure out like, okay, if I do this and I could do this and I could do this and I could do this. And it's just like, it's a game of balance. I really, really liked it a lot. By looking at the box when Jeff initially got it, I was like, why did you get this? Don't want it, but now I'm very happy that you did. All right, next up from Plan B Games, we have Maui. And this was sent to us for review from Plan B, so thank you to Plan B Games. Have you ever been to the beach? No? No need. Play Maui.
That sounded like an infomercial.
That's the ad. Actually, Maui is almost kind of like, not a bump in tracks, but it's like a path builder almost. Each player has their own little beach in front of them, and what you're doing is you're laying out different beach towels, you know, real estate on the beach. It's hard to get a good spot. Basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to match up the right colors of towels in like a long stretch, and you are trying to like knock off different things on the beach,
umbrellas.
Like umbrellas and whatever, which are going to give you bonuses. And that's what you're doing. You're like building out towels on the beach. And I know that you're probably like, what? That sounds silly. It is kind of silly, but it's a lot of fun. It is very puzzly. This is kind of like, it's almost Calico-esque because like you're not to the same extent, but it kind of gives me the same feelings in terms of brain burniness. You're also like kind of drafting the towels. So you might notice that, oh, Jeff's going for orange towels. What a dummy. I'm going to take all the orange towels from him, because there's certain areas of the beach where you lay the towels that are going to give you more points. And if you have like a longer stretch of a certain color, then you might get more points. And why I was thinking of like bumping tracks, it's not really bumping tracks, but you are trying to like move up on the different color tracks, because at the end of the game, that's going to be how many points you score basically.
Yeah, each towel type has a corresponding track that you're going to go up depending on how many towels you combo off. And it's really cool because it's like there's let's call it an alleyway that you can place your towels out on, and you can go outside of that because again you have to be able to place. But if you go outside of that, that little alleyway, or if you're too far off the beach, too close to the water, or too far away from the water,
shark's gonna eat you.
You're gonna get negative points.
Yeah,
it's just it was a really cool, unique little puzzler. It gave me kind of like kind of Calico, or like even to some degree like Azul, how it was kind of like you want to place certain towel types next to each other and stuff. Really, really enjoyed it. It had the chunky tiles. It has the chunky cardboard.
The thick stuff.
The thick stuff.
We actually ended up buying this game for our friends Emily and Doolin over at Table Knots because we really liked it, and we knew that Emily would love it as well. So yeah, if you're into kind of tile placement puzzly games that give you that a little bit of brain burn, but they're silly and fun, this is a great game.
And I do think this would be a good intro game. Yeah. It is not heavy.
It's not heavy. It's easy to learn for sure. Easy to get to the table.
Very.
That is Maui. What can I say except you're welcome?
Well, come to think of it, kid, honestly, I could go on and on. I could explain every natural phenomenon. The tide, the grass, the ground, all that was Maui just messing around. I killed Neil, I buried his guts, sprouted a tree, now you got coconuts. What's the lesson? What does it take away? Don't mess with Maui when he's on the breakaway. And this tapestry here on my skin is a map of the victories I win. Look what I did, I make everything happen.
Yeah, blah, blah,
Next
blah, blah, blah.
up from 25th Century Games and sent to us by 25th Century, we have Blazon. There is a bunch of language and association of this game to like heraldry and building out your shield, and that's basically what you're doing in this game. You're actually going to have your own tableau and you're building out your family shield, your family crest. You're a herald designing this shield crest thing. And again, I'm butchering the words because there are
a lot of words.
This is a real thing.
Yeah. With much history.
Much history that I'm butchering.
Wow, such history.
However, that is basically what you're doing in this game. So you're going to have a bunch of objectives. You are trying to replicate those cards on your shield by matching patterns, colors, and scoring victory points.
Yep.
That's basically the game.
Yeah, like Jeff said, different colors and patterns, and on your shield you have to make a decision at the top. So it's kind of like a grid. At the top of each square, there's going to be one color, and at the bottom, there's going to be another color. So you have to decide, oh, I'm going to put the blue at the top. So now you've committed to the colors at the top, and you can't switch that. So the cards are called distinction cards and element cards. The element cards can go kind of around the edge, and the distinction cards have to kind of fill up the middle. And yeah, you're just kind of pattern building, and you're also going to be drafting cards sort of from the tableau that's in front of you or from the line that's in front of you, and you can get rid of your cards to pick up new cards, and you're just trying to like maximize what you can do on your turn with the cards that you have to build out your shield.
Yeah, there's like two main ways that this game is going to kind of like operate. Like, one, there's a ton of placement rules. There's placement rules at the top and then to the right side of the shield where you can't match tiles or you can't match cards or colors or that sort of thing. Yeah. But also it's kind of a race to like, so at the very top there's objectives, and the first person to complete those objectives gets those victory points. So it's like a bit of a race to make sure you're matching those objectives at the top and being the first one to get there and complete it.
It's like a giant puzzle because the objectives are driven by their symbols on the cards that go beyond the color and the pattern on the card. So like there might be like a fleur-de-lis, or there might be like 2 swords, and one of the objectives might be like get 4 cards that have the fleur-de-lis and that are yellow or whatever. And so you're like looking at all the objectives because you want to be the first one to get some of those objectives, and then you're also like looking at the cards that you have in your hand because also they have points on them, and you have to make sure you're placing them in the right place. And then you have to keep your eye on the market because, you know, I need to make sure that I'm going to get what I need, but I have to watch Jeff to make sure that he's not getting what he needs. So yeah, it's just kind of like a big puzzle. I would say my biggest thing for this game is I'd like to try it with more players because I do think that it would add a little bit extra to choosing the cards and everything like that. This game went so fast. It's
a race. The whole game is a race for victory points because there's even that element where if I get to like 10 victory points first, I get that bonus tile that's worth more points. Like it is very much about optimization and a race for points.
Yeah, it's a really cool looking game. Like I think the history behind it is really interesting, and yeah, it's just like a neat little puzzle game. The last game that we have to talk about today is Hickory Dickory, and this is from Plaid Hat Games and was very generously given to us by Plaid Hat Games at the end of PAX Unplugged. This is the floor copy, loved by many and also loved by us. This game, where do I even start? So in this game, you are playing as a team of little mice just like the fairy tale, the nursery rhyme, Hickory Dickory Dock. And you are going to be running around the clock. You get it? Just like the nursery rhyme. So basically this game, the mice that are on your team are going to be hopped up on the minute hand of the clock. Or is it the hour?
No, it's just the way you said that they're going to be hopped up. I was like, on drugs?
The mice are hopped up, okay? They're hopped up on the minute hand. And each tick of the minute hand is going to be a different action space. So you have a few choices as the mice that are up on the minute hand. You can either stay, because there might be something more lucrative coming down the road, or you can jump off and you can put into action that space. And so the spaces are going to let you do different things, whether it's collecting different tiles, it's got like the chunky azul tiles, or it's going to let you go to the spider web to collect other tiles or get objective cards or fill orders, because essentially what you're doing is you're collecting these tiles and putting them in your little backpack.
Yeah, it's good. It's a pick up and deliver game.
It's a pick up and deliver game. So you're putting the stuff in your backpack because you want to make a delivery. You got to make a delivery. So you're going to deliver those tiles, and where you're delivering those tiles is to your own personal little grid. Everybody has like a little grid that's unique to them, that's showing them the certain colors and patterns that they want or that they need to get in order to score victory points. So every time that you trade in the tiles, you're going to get victory points for the tiles that you're trading in. And then at the end of the game, the goal is to try and fill out as many rows and columns as you can within that grid. So a big part of the game is picking up tiles so that you can trade them in, so you can try and get the tiles that you want, or just trading them in for points. It's so cute. I just think it's so, so cute. We have played this at 2 players and 4 players. I think it plays great at both, but I think I prefer it at 4.
Yeah, because there's a bit of a mean element to it where you can actually, like, there's only so much space on the clock arms, the clock hands, sorry. And so some of the mice are bigger than others. So if you put your big chunky mice up, he can actually push your other mice off of the clock hands.
Even if they didn't want to
Even if they didn't want to get off. So they have to get off at the area they're at. And it might be like, it's a fail forward type thing. Like you're pushed off. You're still going to be able to do something.
Right.
But it kind of screws up your plans. And that really comes out at 4 player. But I've also enjoyed it at 2 and 4.
For sure.
Very, very cute.
And each of the mice has its own like little special ability. So like the big mouse can carry more things in his stack. There's a mouse called the Scurrier that can jump ahead like 3 spaces if they want to. Then there's just this cute little like scamp mouse that like there's a spot that allows you to bring him out, and then he can scamp away and then go to a different spot. And
and then certain rounds there'll be a little cat hand.
Yeah, the cat's coming out.
The cat's trying to get the mice, so they are going to put their hand or their paw out on certain areas around the clock, and that mice you're not allowed to go there anymore.
You can't go there.
That round.
The cat will literally eat you. And at the 12 o'clock spot, you'll see right here is King Cuckoo. And basically he's looking for different like relic tiles. So you can also collect these relic tiles, and when you get to 12 o'clock, you can deliver those to him. This game is adorable. It's super fun, and I've really enjoyed playing it.
I've mentioned this on other videos. Pick up and deliver and route building. Those mechanics are really picking up for me. I mean, look at it. It's so cute.
It's so cute.
And I mean, the components are top notch. Like you are playing with Azul tiles.
Yeah,
like,
you're playing with it, and
if
the
you
clock
like
hand
that tactile
moves
feel, like, and yeah, the clock hand moves. Like there is a bit of setup because you do have to put the clock together. But yeah, component-wise, gameplay-wise, very much enjoyed it.
It has that toy element, which is super fun. It's not overly complicated, so you can play it with kids. I think it says 10+. There's just so many different elements. There's pick up and deliver. There's like a bit of a puzzle because you're like building your own little grid. And then there's like objective cards. And yeah, I don't know. I love it. I just think it's so cute. I love pretty much any game that has cute, adorable little mice in it.
It plays pretty quickly, too.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't take a long time to play.
It says 60 to 120 minutes, and I mean, I think that's probably on the far end.
Yeah, cool. So that is Hickory Dickory from Plaid Hat Games, a worker rotation game. Those are 5 more games that we wanted to tell you about. Let us know down below if you've played any of these games, if you're interested in playing any of these games. We would love to know. And if you're interested in buying games, like any of the 5 that we mentioned today, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that is
The Boardroom. Game Cafe.
Heck yeah, it is. If you're interested in joining us for the Foster the Game-a-Thon 24-hour all-you-can-play board game-a-thon on March 4th, all of the
You've
information...
gotten really good at throwing that out.
Thank you.
That was well done.
Right? All the information for that is down below. We have a very exciting lineup of other creators that are going to be joining us for games, and Jeff's not going to sleep, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, okay.
He won't be cranky at all. Lots
Yeah,
of
I don't know
coffee.
what you got planned between the hours of like 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., but
So many things.
ain't gonna be me. Ain't gonna be me, kid.
Yes, it is. If you like what you see,
Please subscribe.
we hope to see you again soon, and now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later days.
Like if I do this, I'm in focus. And if I do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
You look
whoever
like a
sent it,
child.
I'm pretty sure it was Steph and Brad. Appreciate it. No, that background's still effing moving, isn't it? Is it?
No.
Okay, I must just because I
Probably because you hit the table ding dong.
hit the table, ding dong. All right. Okay, here's my story.
Mm.
Guess what I made for dinner?
It smelled like noodles.
Yeah. But, okay, so I found this recipe because we've been really into ramen lately, and it was called cheesy ramen, and I was like,
Did
ooh.
you did the cheese thing?
Yeah.
Was it good?
No, I didn't do that cheese thing, but I wish that I had.
I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
Anyways, basically, the recipe, I was looking at the recipe, and I'm like, this looks like it's not going to work out well, but it was just ramen noodles, butter, a little garlic powder, and then cheese.
Oh, that'd be good.
No.
No?
It wasn't good
No?
because the cheese we have doesn't melt right, so it all like clumped together. It didn't taste great.
What kind of cheese did you use?
A block of marble cheese.
Did you shred it?
Yeah,
You didn't.
I did.
That's weird.
I know. I don't know. It didn't work well. Maybe it didn't have enough butter.
Let's do it.
Has nothing to do with noodles, but here we are.
I'm gonna look it up, Jamie.
Good call, Jeff. Rising to victory. Get over here. Fatality. Katana wins. That's not what Katana does.
It's a lot of blah blah blah.
I want to go to Blah Blah's.
Blah blah blah's blah blog. Okay, just your face then.
It's just my face.